Hey folks, this is Casey and I am one Mellow Marigold, and this video is going to be about super fun adulty things like advanced directives, wills, changing beneficiaries, and other ways to protect yourself and your assets from your conservative next of kin. I know, this is non-gardening content again. Do not worry, we will definitely get back to it really soon. But this video is actually a request from one of my TikTok followers. You may not know this, but before I lost my mind, bought a farm in the middle of nowhere and ran away, I was a corporate girly. Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in human resources from Marquette University. And in my corporate life, I started out in crisis management and then moved on into human resources where I specialized in benefits administration. Long story short, I was in a place to help a whole lot of people at the absolute worst times of their life. And if you happen to be a member of a marginalized community, getting the care that you need can be made drastically more difficult if the next of kin in your life do not share your same values. So in the first half of the video, we're going to talk about the serious things. We're going to talk about advanced directives, which include healthcare proxies, living wills, and final disposition papers. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you what all of that means. And in the second half of this video, we're going to get just a little more casual and talk about some additional ways that you can ensure the conservative people in your life do not benefit from you. So make sure you stick around to the end, my fellow petty people. Let's get right into it. Advanced directives. What are they and why are they important? In a nutshell, advanced directives are a way to tell your medical providers what you want done with your body if the occasion arises where you're not able to communicate for yourself. They tell your providers who can make decisions on your behalf when you're not able to. They tell your providers what kinds of decisions you want made when you're not able to. And they tell providers what you want done with your personhood in the event of your untimely death. Now, why is this important? You might be watching this as someone who has never had a surgery, has no major healthcare concerns or chronic illnesses, has no major disabilities, has a spouse that shares all their same values. So for some of you, this might be like do I really need that? But my queer folks know exactly why these advanced directives are really important. Before gays were allowed to be married, your gay partner was not legally considered your next of kin. Who is next of kin? Your spouse, adult children, and your parents. So if a gay person was in a car accident, for example, and they were incapacitated in a way that they could no longer communicate to healthcare providers their wishes. If you don't have advanced directives in place, the healthcare providers might reach out to your next of kin instead of your gay partner. And if those next of kin come in to take responsibility for your care, they may request that your gay partner be completely excluded from your healthcare altogether. And no, this is not fear-mongering. This has happened to many gay people in the most dire of situations. Conservative next of kin have been known to not only kick out your gay partner from the hospital setting altogether, but refuse to even acknowledge any gay people in your life from coming to visit you. They may dead name you. They may bring in religious counsel that you would not have authorized. They may exclude your closest from making any funeral arrangements. And now moving into another Trump era where federal marriage protections may be on the line again, this is the time, if you haven't already, to get that paperwork filled out. Now, this stuff is going to be important for everybody, again, and I've used a lot of gay examples because I am one, but this is also really important for any human who can birth a child. You want to make sure that if you are in crisis with that pregnancy, the people in charge of making decisions for you know what your values are and know what you would want done in those situations. It's also really important for anybody who has chronic medical conditions or various disabilities, anybody who is more vulnerable from a healthcare standpoint. Okay, so this is your checklist now. This is where you got to start deciding if you need to do these things. What's a healthcare proxy? Healthcare proxy form tells your healthcare providers who can make decisions on your behalf. If you are married, do not worry. This does not have to be your spouse. It can be anybody who is over the age of 18 that you trust and shares your values. Many states on your Department of Health Services website will have a sample form that is valid in your state. If you can't find something like that, you can also reach out to your physician and ask them for a form. They're more than likely going to have one on hand that you can use. Once you have filled out those forms and signed off on them in front of a witness, you're going to want to keep the original with you, and you're going to want to make copies. You're going to give that copy to your primary care physician, and if there happens to be a standard hospital system in your area that you would go to, you're going to want to make sure they have that on file for you too. Once you have the who, now you need to tell them what. So a living will tells your providers what type of healthcare decisions you would like made on your behalf when you are incapacitated. It could tell providers if you want to be put on life support or if you want a do not resuscitate clause. If you are someone who can birth a child and you are pregnant and you would want that child's life to be saved before your own, you can indicate things like that. So the healthcare proxy says who, the living will says what, and then we have your final disposition. So in the event of your untimely demise, the final disposition is going to indicate what you want done with your body. Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Do you have certain funeral arrangements that you would like followed? Having these three in place tells your healthcare providers, this trusted person can take care of me, not my next of kin who want to do something that's against my values. This is the person who can make those decisions, and here are the decisions that I would like made. If you have ever had a surgery, or if you've ever been with someone when they've gone into hospice, most hospital centers will ask you to fill out these forms as you're going in, but having them already filled out in the case of unforeseen circumstances is really, really helpful. Okay, that's advanced directives. Do it. It's so easy. Just put it on your list, get it done. You're going to feel a ton better. Now that we've got your healthcare protected in the way that you want, let's talk about your assets in general. Do you have a will in place? This next section requires a disclaimer. I'm not an attorney. I know you're shocked because I just look so darn lawyerly, but I'm not. I didn't even play one on TV. Anything you do could and should be reviewed by an attorney. Do you own property? Do you have debt? Do you have pets? And have you thought through how you would like those things to be handled or passed down to in the event of your death? Do you want the person who voted against you in the voting booth to get your house? No. No, the fuck you don't. Get a will in place. You're going to look for an attorney with family law or estate planning as a specialty. If you cannot afford to see an attorney, there are legal aid groups online that might be able to assist you. If you don't have a lot in the way of assets and you just want to get something on paper, there are plenty of will templates out there on the internet. What's important when it comes to a will is making sure that you are meeting the requirements of your state specifically. So for example, you can hop out to LegalZoom. They have a whole page where you can click on your state and you can find out what the family planning rules are in your state so that you can be informed. And again, your state's Department of Health and Human Services may already have generic will templates that you can download and use to get yourself started. Can those wills hold up in court? Yeah, they sure can if they're filled out correctly and you have them signed in front of a notary. Another question I've been asked is about e-wills. So filling out and signing a form completely online, no physical signatures. Can you do that? In certain states, yes. For example, in the state of New York, currently e-signed wills are not allowable, but they're working on pushing that into legislation. So you need to check out, again, if that is a requirement that your state allows. If they couldn't stand up for you in the voting booth, should they get any monetary benefit in the case of your untimely death? No, they really shouldn't. Let's talk about changing your beneficiaries. If you are an employed individual, you may have certain benefits like retirement savings plans and life insurance. It might just be a small policy that your company allows you to take out, probably for a really cheap premium. And you may even remember from your new hire paperwork, filling out who you wanted your beneficiaries to be in the case of your death. You can change your beneficiaries for your life insurance and 401k at any time of the year. It does not just have to be at open enrollment or when you fill out your new hire paperwork. There are going to be some rules in place depending on your state about who can and cannot be a beneficiary. If you're married, for example, your spouse is going to need to be the beneficiary on your 401k. For life insurance, it's a little bit different. If you're in a community property state, on your life insurance, your spouse does also need to be your beneficiary. But if you're not, anybody can be your beneficiary. So why not make it a trusted person that shares your values? And if you don't have anybody like that in your life, this is a great time to write in your favorite nonprofit organization so that some good comes out of the benefit when you pass. And no, you don't have to tell them that you've removed them as a beneficiary. No, sure don't. Let's normalize not giving generational wealth to those who don't support freedom and equality for all. Now that we've talked about the serious things, let's get petty. There's other ways that you can make sure that your conservative friends and family are not going to benefit from you. Are they on your group fund plan? Not anymore, they're not. If that contract is in your name, you can contact your provider and have the line removed from your plan. Do they have passwords to your streaming apps? Change the password. Not anymore, they don't. Do that today, or a minute before the big game that they were hoping to watch. I hear under Trump's economic plan, they're going to be just fine and they can pay for their own Netflix subscription. Are you their emergency contact for their place of work or anywhere else? Do you not want to be anymore? Tell them you want to be removed. Use your friends and family gym discount. Not anymore. They don't. Let your gym know that they are no longer a person on your plan. Do you regularly take them to the doctor or shopping because it's less expensive than getting a taxi? Not anymore. You don't. There's Uber. Everybody can get Uber. They can figure that out for themselves. Did you ever agree to co-sign a loan for them? Ooh, have you checked on the status of that loan recently? You may submit a co-signer release letter to the institution that lent the money to that individual. Now, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to be removed as a co-signer, but do you really want to be in a position of being financially responsible for that individual if they default on the loan anymore? Probably not, because I think we know what's going to happen to the economy in the next 4 years, and I don't think it's going to be super great for any of us. You may no longer be in a position financially to co-sign that loan because of the increased in healthcare costs that you might experience. We may see healthcare premiums go up exponentially if ACA is affected under the next administration. And if your healthcare insurance goes up too high, you may no longer be a financial candidate to be a co-signer. It also just may have been so long since you signed that co-signer paperwork that the lender has already paid in enough that they could refinance on their own. So, is it a guarantee? No. Is it going to put a wrench in their day? Yeah, it sure is. Go ahead and write the letter, send it to the bank and see what happens. And don't even get me started about the holidays. Ooh, I know it's a struggle, and to each their own. You have to decide what's best for you, but I can't honestly imagine sending my cute little Christmas card of my doggies on the farm to anybody who stood in that voting booth and said, okay, folks, that's what I got for today. I promise we're going to get back to gardening next time. I promise. I hope you found this information helpful. Even if you feel like advanced directives are not something you're going to need in your own life, knowing about them and how to get them in the hands of somebody that needs them is how you're going to build community and help others. If you have any questions about the below, I'm happy to answer them as best as I can or direct you to resources in your neighborhood that might be able to better assist. In addition, I provided a bunch of links down in the description that you can check out as well. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. I hope you love yourself today, because I sure do love you. And I'm going to see you on the next one, okay?